What's happening, guys, and welcome into Wires Up TV, where we are here to break down, which was a very sad Sunday for myself, but a very joyous Sunday for my man Ash. Brother, how you doing? I'm sure you're no doubt high and feeling high as a kite after that great weekend for you.
Bro, yeah, awesome, bro. Awesome little weekend there. Obviously, we'll go through the game of the weekend, you know, the Kangaroos versus the Kiwis and that, but just really excited to see international football continue to be put on the forefront at the moment, and hopefully the growth to the future, because we've got a lot of games to get through. You know, TOASAMOA versus England, also a lot of talking points there, but yeah, nice little win from my Kangaroos over the weekend. But we don't become enemies anymore this week. We become frenemies. Obviously, you know, you guys are going up against Tonga, and really excited to see what Shaun Johnson can pull out for that contest. I'll definitely be rooting for Kiwis this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one too. But no, big ups to everyone. Big up to everyone in the chat. Daniel Berry as well. Heidi ho, man, from wherever in the world you are. There's never been confirmed, but we appreciate you. Ray45, thank you, man. Yeah, amazing game for the Kiwis. Yeah, it was just a great contest. Krishan says hi. What's up, Tans? Josh Macklin, yeah, enjoyed the game despite the result. It was just actually a good, like, physical battle. You know, like, I know the play the ball was probably a little bit slower than NRL at times, but I like that. I like that little bit of physical, like, you know, you just hard hit ups, wrestle a little bit more, maybe at times.
Very much so.
And I'm like, nah, that's a good little break from, you know, sometimes just the speed of play the ball, you know. And I thought, no, I got nothing really to complain about. I thought Kangaroos were awesome. Kiwis, yeah, they were good for parts, and then they had some moments where they weren't so great. But let's break it down anyway, man. Yeah, so Kangaroos get the win. I think it was 22-10 in the end. But talk me through your view of how that game went. What were some of the takeaways you maybe took away for the Kangaroos, but also what are some of the takeaways from your observation of the Kiwis, and specifically, you know, seeing Shaun Johnson coming out of retirement. And a few debutants as well, with some great tries, a great setup by Kenny, and a great try for Warbrick as well. So a few positives, you could say. But yeah, what was your view of the game, bro?
Yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good hit out. Obviously, you know, we've got to take into account the Kiwis. This is their first hit out of the Pacific Championship Series, so definitely combinations you get to build overall with the overall game set, and obviously the Kangaroos have had their game against Tonga. So that was the viewpoint I was looking at this game through. You know, we spoke about this last week, that you obviously said usually the Kiwis build into a series as well. You know, play a lot better later on in the series. Obviously, picking up some tips how to get over certain sort of oppositions, and I think you guys should be very happy with the way you went about your business over the weekend. I know conceding 22 points was, you know, wasn't the best sort of look at the end of it, but I thought defensively you held in for the majority of the game. It was 16-10 at one point there, and I started to get a little bit worried, thinking that you was going to come home strong. Shaun Johnson's kicking game was like really, really good comparatively between the two kickers, right? We had Mitchell Moses there, and Mitchell was really struggling in moments for me, in my opinion. Our spine, again, didn't combine the way I really wanted to see it, but obviously the class in certain different areas like Tommy Trebojevic and that really standing up and on the big stage. Just individual performances really stood out for us. But as a collective with you guys as a Kiwis, I think there's a lot to build from, but also a very good baseline where I thought that, the Australian baseline that we set against the Tongan side a couple of weeks ago, where our attack just looked really clunky. We only completed like 68% of that. It does look like you guys have got a really good game plan. It's just a couple of tweaks that I would have for that game plan for the future to really, for you guys to impact us, especially come finals time. But I'm sure you guys will pick up a lot of learning from that first game against us. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Just firstly, I thought it was a great contest. I enjoyed like I said, the physical battle. I thought the line speed of the Kiwis was pretty good for the majority. I thought the Kangaroos were physical and, the class in certain areas like the centers and the wings. I thought Dead and Moses did what they had to, I suppose. And yeah, I mean, for them, again, not a standout game for them as a pairing, but you saw when you get it to the right people in the right spot, you don't need much to, you don't have to do too much, just tip it on and you get those one-on-ones. But no, I thought it was really good. I was impressed with Kenny in his own way. I know people a bit harsh. Well, a bit harsh. I mean, he was kind of caught out in the first, the Angus Crichton one. His kind of numbers-wise defense was a bit off, getting his numbers right on the goal line. He missed that tackle against Collins, bit of an overreach, and just a few little things. But I thought in attack he showed promise. Probably like to see him in better attacking spots. He's a very small guy, and he can find a space, but he can also get kind of get into like surrender tackles a lot, all that type of stuff. So there's kind of a catch-22 to his game, but I enjoyed it. I thought Warbrick was really, really solid. Love that little head fake and then score. That was just cool to see. Likewise, Lomax was beast too, man. He was awesome.
Strong competitor, bro. He is.
Yeah, and the other side kind of nullified each other for a little bit. Hammer probably had a bit more of a quiet game, but like Hiku kind of, Hiku was getting bagged for being Super League, but he's not a bad player. Hiku, he's just he can do a job for you, but he's not elite in that sense. But I thought it was a great contest, man. I just want to talk quickly about the attack. I got the sense it was obviously it's very Warriors and Webby influenced. You can see some of the goal line shapes, the double leads. There's different elements to it, and so you're kind of thinking it's like a Warriors, but with better players technically. But what do you make of our attacking shape, and do you think we can get more out of CNK, or would you go to a Nicarima? Would you change it up? And it seems as though with the team list, obviously that hasn't changed. But what's your thoughts on the Kiwis attack?
Yeah, no, I thought it was like the way I sort of look at it, I think it's a really positive baseline, first of all. I think that you were attacking very smart in general during the game, but it definitely lacked in a couple of areas. Obviously, the decision to put CNK in that 6 jersey, it did work in that Penrith Panthers game for the Warriors earlier on in the season, but coming to this game, especially against the Kangaroos, a lot better of a defensive system, obviously. Not better defensive system, but, a lot of
better
the top-class players there.
Yep.
So, the energy of CNK in that 6, he didn't play his best game, I thought, in general. I would have loved to see maybe Stacy put in Cody Nicarima to see if that will, speed up the tempo in that attack, especially giving Shawnee maybe another player to play off of on that side, because it did feel like a very, Warriors of this season where it kind of feeds more of the thought of our season this year, right, where I feel like a lot of the cohesion wasn't there to start off with. The overall baseline, the game plan is solid. It's sound. Like you completed at 86%. You had 53% of the possession. The more possession you have, the more completion rate you have, the more ball you have, the more opportunities you end up having in the match, right? And I feel like with better players in certain different positions, you will up tempo on that attack and you create more opportunities to score tries. Unfortunately, in this game, I feel like the cohesiveness of that side, having CNK being a non-6, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe CNK should ever be looked at as a 6. I think that one time we tried to do it, we had to do it due to injuries and the position we were put in. And obviously there was some really good little moments there that CNK had, but in general, I think CNK's preferred position is fullback, and then probably second to that will probably be with the center or winger in the back line, because I just don't think that in that position there's a lot of nuance in that position, and having like someone like Kodi Nikorima in attack, I think that his up-tempo speed in the attack, the way he loves to sum up on numbers on that side, and it just would give Shaun Johnson a little bit of a break from, you know, running the show constantly. But that's the way I sort of looked at it. It's a really good baseline, right? And as soon as you start like implementing players of like, especially if you're looking forward to World Cup series in the future, you put, you know, Jerome Hughes, you put Dylan Brown in the system, a lot of the better players in the system. I think you guys will flourish under the system you're building over there in the New Zealand Kiwis. You know, again, I sort of talked to you before backstage, the reason why it did look like a Warriors sort of like Panthers sort of attacking system, or, you know, maybe theoretically their game plan, is mainly because their key players in this side is, you know, James Fisher-Harris, Shaun Johnson, you know, all these big players that have played under those systems, and Stacy Jones obviously learning with, you know, Andrew Webster at the club. So I think he will be better for it. Obviously, just on the weekend, unable to really strike on a lot of the possession he's had, and I feel like it did come down to maybe an inexperienced player in that spine that could have helped out in the future.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do feel, I mean, it's no discredit to Chance. We know Chance. He's a great battler. He's a hard worker. In fact, you could have put him in the fullback job and he could have done a pretty good job. But it just, you need someone to alleviate Shaun and the pressure of Shaun. And I think Nikorima was probably the better option. Like, yeah, you got a kicking option there. You got more of an up-tempo attacking option. You can get him the ball straight on the money and he can create. And I think maybe it's kind of, you know, trying to, hopefully it figures itself out. I think you'll get a better read this game, but trying to get Kenny in better spots. Like, I thought that first try we got was good. It was kind of getting Kenny involved and, kind of using his speed to effect, not just on carries, you know, use him as an actual, like, genuine, you know, attacking threat out wide.
That right-hand side.
Yep. Give him some ball playing options. Give him something, because that speed, if you just get that quick play of the ball, mate, you can get a lot out of that from using Kenny on that as a first receiver. So a lot to work on. What do you make of Stacy? I suppose interchanges wise, I mean, you can nitpick. I thought for a first game and a first time head coach was actually not bad. Maybe there were some spots you could have. I thought probably brought Nikorima on a tad bit earlier. Yeah, but what do you make of Stacy's overall game management, interchange usage, strategy, all that stuff?
Yeah, I thought it wasn't too bad. Like, the only question I did have is I noticed that Fish played a big first stint. And I don't know whether that's to look into for the Warriors for the future and all that, or more so looking into the cattle that you've had for this game. You know, obviously missing out on Leo Thompson due to the suspension and that. I feel like if you had Leo Thompson and you had to push, obviously, Nafahu White, who I thought had a really good game, push him back to the bench, and then you could do like a double change and really like switch out Fish and keep him fresh for a majority of the game. He played well within all those minutes, right? Like, but it's more so just as a fact of like the impact of Fish if he's playing 45 to 50 instead of 67. A majority of that 67 was predicated from the first 40. I'm pretty sure he played majority of that first 40, and then he had a little stint off it before half time, and it came back on a little bit later. I felt like those were the only real change I was looking at going maybe. And Kodi Nikorima, I really thought that he would inject him for a little bit more of this game. He only played 10 minutes later on in the game. But other than that, I was actually, you know, I thought it wasn't too bad of the first look there. Obviously, you know, Griffin Eam got a decent amount of time there. Ratani Kore had a decent little stint in the middle there for 25 minutes. I thought he played a little bit more. And even Jordan Ricky, when I thought he first came on, he injected himself into the contest really nicely as well in that moment. He only had that one error later on, which was a really poor one. But I thought defensively, you know, his kick chase is what everyone knows him from with the Broncos, and he was showing out that on the big stage there too. So it can only get better with Stacey. Hopefully he's learned a couple of things here. But I thought it wasn't too bad. The only question I ever had of it was maybe that first stint for Fisher Harris did feel like it went for a long period of time. And Fish, like after a big long season, did look like he was taking a little bit of fatigue later ended in that stint where I feel like he could have been a little bit more fresher. But that's my only query I had over Stacey's changes. You would probably agree with that, eh?
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. I'll wait to see it because again, I think the model Stacey's come from is obviously the Panthers WebB model. And it's clear because you see the same setups. My only thing is like the best way to use that model in many ways is as a ball playing lock. And maybe there's an argument, maybe if you can get an Aaron Clark in the game, you might see a bit of an uptick, off the bench where you get a bit of ball playing. Doesn't mean, like we've talked about it heaps, you don't have to have a ball playing lock. But you can just see at times there's some hesitancy on the attack where like Fish either had the ball or Nafahu, and I know Nafahu's listed at lock. Not sure when to tip it on, or the timing of things, and you can just see with Australia, they know, okay, we're going to go into a quick play the ball here, we're going to hit we're going to go out the back, blah blah blah. So all those things, I'm hoping they can kind of figure that out. But I mean, like there are options like a Aaron Clark who could come and play a bit of that role if they're lacking that. They haven't gone with him obviously this week, but. And likewise, I think Jacko said Nicodema's D is suspect. Yeah, but you could also bring Nicodema on as a 6 in the later part of the game if you wanted to, if you're trying to chase some points or, trying to.
I agree.
There's like you can use him as an actual genuine utility to kind of, he doesn't have to play the whole game as a 6. You can come on and just you take Chance out or something like that. So there's options there, but yeah, I can't be overcritical of Stacey, and I know that the rhetoric for everyone. When everyone saw the team list and seen the loss, it's easy to just jump on Stacey right away. And there might be that, it might end up being, if say we all lose all 3 games or you could say, okay, now Stacey's a problem. I just don't think, or based on that first game, I don't feel anything like that was a bad performance or like he completely stuffed up. It wasn't like Kidwell leaving Tamalolo on the bench for
No. And like honestly, I think there's a lot more green shoots than there was negative shoots for me. Like negative moments. Like if you look at a team list, like we did the combined 13 or the combined team last week, it was majority Australian players. And like you're looking at the cattle that you guys have, unfortunately due to injury this year, like you would have had such a better side on paper. You're running a fullback at number 6 right now. Where obviously the Australian side have a normal 6, a normal 7, a normal fullback. We have no one that's really out of position, that's playing out of position other than like Tommy Turbo and Hamiso, but they've shown on stages like State of Origin they can play center, where you guys are trying to mix and match in certain places and trying to push through with that against a side like the Kangaroos. So once you get to, like, you're setting a good baseline for especially the World Cup, right, and all that, because unfortunately with the Pacific Championship, with the team that you have, unless like everything comes together and you have a worldy performance, right, you may not be able to get it over in the finals. But I think a lot of this has to do with the World Cup coming up. If you're setting the precedents the way you are right now, the baseline, you add all the best players and the creative players like Jerome Hughes and Dylan Brown, and even like, Moses Leota's still not there. Leo Thompson was unable to play in this game. He'll play Pacific Championship though. So there's a lot of missing pieces to the side that could get a lot better. And the overall baseline of the game plan, I thought, played out a lot better than the Kangaroos' game plan. It was just the difference between the two sides was individuals that stepped up, as we spoke about. Tommy Trebojevic, Zach Lomax, and just players like that had big moments where the Kiwis had the better game plan, and stats really showed that overall in the game as well.
Yeah. I mean, I get a lot of people in the chat. I know people saying NZR dropped the ball. Again, I like what T. Miller said. I'm going to give Stacey the series and see. Like he deserves a shot. And Wayne, and having Wayne Bennett as a babysitter, it's not going to do anything for you. Like he's got to learn the hard way. Like just like any other coach, if you want to be a serious head coach, you gotta you can't be baby coddled everything. And I'm not discrediting what Jazz is saying and all that. I'm just saying for Stace and his development, he needs to own this series. His selections, his interchanges. If it stuffs up, well, then we'll evaluate that. But I agree with T. Miller. I'll give him the actual full series to make some adjustments.
And as I kind of I think the big point I wanted to take out of like what I was trying to say there is like, I think we can all agree that a lot of people coming out of that game took away that I felt like you guys looked better within the majority of the game.
Yes.
It's just in moments where it kind of fell apart for you guys, right? Due to the spine members that you end up having and just them not coming together in that. You had your first game out there against the Australian Kangaroos. Like you go look at our first game against Tonga and, try to look at the differences between the two. I think Kiwis had a really good step in the right direction here. You know what I mean? And as soon as you start adding all your big pieces back and really get on the front foot, your game plan is perfect. Everything else is perfect. You just got to add the pieces in the right places, and you guys will become a lot more dominant than what you actually think you are right now. Like statistically, bro, like 53% possession, 86% completion rate. You know, you beat us in the run meters, you beat us in the post-contact meters, you beat us in tackle breaks. Defensively, I'm pretty sure you beat us in defense as well, right? So, like, you know, you made more tackles but missed less tackles. Like, there's a lot of good little areas that you won out on. It's just unfortunately the moments was the difference of this game due to the big players in that Kangaroo side.
Yeah, man. No, that's and like class is class. You know, there's levels to this, and you take your L's where the classes, and that's always been the benefit. I just with Jazz, what you're saying, I actually wanted Bennett too, bro. I did want Bennett. I'm being honest. When they first were putting Bennett up, I wanted it, but and I get that even Bennett as assistant for Stace would have been great, but I just feel like Stacey
how did Stacey feel in that moment there too, right? And
like it happened to Kearney, it was good. Yeah.
There's a lot of international coaches that like are struggling with their first role. Like Ben Garner with the Samoa side, I feel like is really struggling with that side at the moment too. And there's a lot of questions over that. Christian Wolf in moments as well. So I think Stacey's just got to learn. I think you guys will be better from it. Yeah,
and I think I get what you're saying, Jazz. I just think Stacey at the end of the day, he's got to learn on it, and he's got to figure it out. I saw Kearney in the box. I was like, "Get that punk out of there! Don't let him get into your brain, Stace. Get Kearney out of there, please." Oh my goodness!
Get Kearney out.
Get him out of there. Get him out. No, I agree. I agree with everyone that's talking about it. It's a good yarn, and guys, we'll see. I think we'll learn a lot from the rest of the series to see what happens. Like, this is a great game from what adjustments can you make? What can you improve on? It's all good learning. So, but I just quickly we'll go. I thought, credit to Australia. It was actually, but it was just a great test. Good shout out to Christchurch as well. Like, I know it's not the same size, you know, like in many cases, but that felt like a very Kiwis crowd, like in a very Kiwis test. And you know, we did the best we could. I thought Crossland was pretty good for the majority. He had a few defensive slip ups, but yeah, like you say, man, this is building for a World Cup. Bringing in Crossland, bringing in Kenny, Casey McLean. I'm not sure if he'll get a game, but if he did, that would be great. Like, you've got to build up your your guys now, and for 2026, like, this is a great opportunity for them. And I thought they didn't really miss. Like, they just just a few moments, but.
Would you say there was a lot more positive performances than there were negative performances in the Kiwi performance in this game, right? Like, we'll talk at it that way. Like, Will Warbrick in his debut performance, I thought was absolutely incredible on the wing, especially his less preferred side of wing. Yeah. Like, I thought that, you know, even SJ coming back off retirement, he looked really, really nice out there. You know, Phoenix Crossland proved to you guys that he could be pushing for that hooker role. If you don't have JMK, I thought he did a great job out there. Nafahu White stepped up on the big stage now. You know, you got a lot of options now for the future that all had better games than what probably, you know, the scoreboard kind of shows in a way. So oddly, you're looking at it that way more so than looking at it as in like the things that Stacey kind of missed, because I think that the things Stacey kind of missed end up having to do with the team that you end up having out there, right? Like, you can't, if you don't, Cody Nicarima is the only other 6 that you have in the jersey, in the squad. He had to make the choice in that. He made the wrong choice if a lot of people look at it that way, but you usually would have to make Dylan Brown there, and he's overall, that's his jersey. So like, you shouldn't be looking at it that way either. Right?
Yeah. No, it is. And I think even Augustine saying, do you think Militalo finds his way back in? I think so. I think Militalo's, I mean, you can argue it with Warbrick, but I think Militalo, what he did last year was he should hold that spot. But that's what we want. We want guys competing. Like, Warbrick, if Warbrick scores 5 tries a series, you're like, crap, you know, who you gonna? And that's great. I think that's absolutely awesome. And bro. I think that's a good thing to have. But yeah, I get everyone in the chat. It's great to and your Tongan boy. Hey, we're gonna get into that game at some point. I'll be honest, man, it's kind of scary, but let's get into
a game.
It's gonna be physical. Let's get into the Samoa versus England. I didn't unfortunately get up for. Well, I got up and watched a bit. Fell asleep. You know how it is sometimes with these things.
It's tough, man.
But then, I've rewatched it most of it today. What'd you make of that? It's a bit unfortunate. Just to preface it, that it's always like I've said, it's always tough. No matter who goes over there, barring the Kangaroos, it's tough to win over in the UK. But what did you make of that game? For Samoa and England.
I think, like, before I make the point that I'm going to make, I want to say that England played amazing. Their professionalism, all that sort of stuff, like they had played an incredible game, but Samoa were really disappointing in that game. Like their middles did not turn up for the contest. I thought, I was really disappointed with the Samoan performance, especially. I think their team on paper, obviously it's not the best team they can run out there with, obviously dealing with the same issues that Kiwis are dealing with a lot of players pulling out due to multitude of different reasons. But like the forward pack that they had on paper is a lot better than what they actually showed in that game. They look like really tired, really unfit. Terrell May looks like he's carrying a little bit more weight. In the
I was thinking, Bunty a forward. I was thinking Bunty's less of a handbrake than what Terrell was. I thought Terrell was absolutely horrible. Like he was.
Bro, defensively, bro, there was a key moment. You go watch the George Williams try in that game, and it looked like he was stuck in mud. He didn't even want to move his feet to really make the tackle. Francis Molo, another one too, where I thought that defensively he's usually a very good front rower defensively. But the first try for Herbie Farnworth, Francis just completely gave up of tying in with his edge. Especially, Roger and all that were trying to overcover, but there was a massive gap on the inside that Herbie took under, and Francis was just standing there. He didn't want to move for it. And that's the difference. Like, you watch the Kiwis versus Australian game, as soon as players are coming back in under, those middles are working over straight away to really, stop. It's the same thing happened in that Tonga game against Australia. Like, the reason we were trying to turn Tonga back under because we knew our middles are so mobile, they'll work with that. Where Samoa, they were just pretty much giving up from the inside, and all England had to do was come off their left foot, their outside foot, come back on the inside. There were gaps, galore,
it was
just due to really big fatigue. We know also, another player I want to point out, Jazz should not be a number 9. I don't know where Ben Garner was coming on with that one as well. I know Gordy probably can't play the full 80 minutes, but bring, Gordy off after a put and then put Jazzy on. Start off with some a hooker there that can control the game a little bit. Jeremiah Nenai missed 11 tackles in that game. I thought attacking-wise he had moments, but again, defensive issues. John Asiata looked like well past his prime. He's well past it, what he was before. Luciano Leilua, who was supposed to lift the contest in the middle, I thought he came on the field and he was flopping into tackles. Ruck speed was completely blown out of the water. England, incredible job. They were really professional. They blew him out of the ruck.
Yep.
I know it's a tough trip to go to England and make that, go perform over there, right? But it just looked like a lot of those boys came in really unfit. There was only a couple of names I could pull out there I thought had really good performances, like Gordon Chankam Tong. I thought his energy was in the right place. I thought everything he wanted to do out there was perfect. Anthony Milford should not be playing in that 6 jersey. Blaze Talangi should be
Blaze should be in there.
There's so many changes, bro. I was so disappointed in TOASAMOA, and obviously I got close ties with Samoa, my wife being Samoan. I love Samoa, so they're like my second international side, right?
Yep.
I was so disappointed because they got so much more potential than what they show out there.
Bro, I was watching, I was thinking, this is 2 years straight, and I'm going to call out Samoan. I know Samoan fans love their team, and respect to all the fans, amazing, but man, you should be disappointed with the last 2 years of how this team has performed. 15-0 to Kiwis last year, hiding from Australia, and then you go to England, and that happens. I know it's tough. Crichton pulls out, Tola pulls out. That's a massive difference. To your culture, to your leadership group. The mentality. But yeah, when I saw Terrell May, I was like, bro, put Bunty R4 in there right now. He's less of a handbrake than this fella. This fella was literally just dying in the contact. He'd go into contact and he'd just stop. I was like, what? Because I talked about him in my preview. I said,
New South Wales Cup. I've seen
it was horrible.
BRL. Front rowers run harder and defend harder. Move your feet. That was the thing I was screaming at it. As soon as they started to get good ball and they were starting to get moments, I thought the Samoan, Roger and all those boys at that back line, I thought actually had a lot of decent games. I thought Jarrell Skelton was nice.
Skelton's great.
I thought Dean Mariner was good. But just that forward pack just was so lacking, and that's really where Samoa's strength should come from, right? But just so disappointed.
Yeah, and just goes again professionalism. I mean, Kiwi. I've seen Kiwis do it too, where these guys are just so tired from their and they treat it as a holiday, and it shouldn't be. You should never treat these things as you got to go in as professional as you can. Agree with Jazz. Should have been Gordon to start off with, but the forward pack was just all over the shop. I thought Tonga that did the backline did pretty good for the majority, and the forwards let them down. And I got to give credit to England. I mean, don't know much of their players, but I mean, we talked about it before jumping on. Like they're just solid professionals. Like they treated that like it was a work day. They went to work. They did their 9 to 5, and they did what they had to. Like I thought their outside backs were pretty good. Like the halves are like quite organized. Like the attacking shape was really, really sharp as well. Solid. And forwards, they just got like these kind of. I think they get undervalued a lot, the English forwards, because they think of the big Samoans and Tongans like these guys are like athletic looking. But they just got hard-working, like taller type forwards that just you're unassuming, like they're really unassuming type forwards, and you're like
exactly.
You got to treat these guys with with a bit more respect than what they have, and I'll be interested to see what Gardner can do. But again, similar, he's under the pump to figure this out, but it doesn't look good. Like I thought maybe, what changes would you make coming into this next series from what you observed?
Well, see, it's tough because the team that they brought over, the couple of changes that I'll make, I don't know if they'll improve it overall in general. Like Terrell May, I thought should be the main member in the middle, being, after the year that he had with the Roosters, I thought that he would turn up for this game and really, put on for Samoa. But obviously, his performances there were really lacking. My big change would be, first of all, Jazz out of that number 9 jersey, put him in the front row, do him all the cleanup work. Whether you want to bring him off the bench or whatever, but I feel like the ruck got blown apart, and Jazzy, having to run around in the ruck and try to play off the ground. Like I think that a lot of his game should be predicated more defensively. So I want to bring him off the bench and have Gordy to start off that game, right? And then also Anthony Milford for me, either have him at 14 or just don't have him in the side and put Blaze Talangi in that 6 jersey. He's going to be the 6, or most likely be the 6 for the Penrith Panthers this year if he works hard enough. And he said he's going to be learning under Jerome Luai. Give him the opportunity to do so. Make him a member of that side. Those are the big changes for me. But also, there's a lot of questions on Ben Garner. Like, some of the team lists that he ends up picking, like last year at the Pacific Championship, having Critter at that number 6 role, where he had Ronald Volkman in his side. He had a lot of other key members he could be chucking in that halves jersey. There's a lot of questions over like his coaching for me. I'm not sure if he's up for the task just yet, and that's coming off of Matt Parrish, which I didn't agree with a lot of Matt Parrish's roles as well. It's just, I feel for Samoa because the players that they have, the talent that they have, they should be a ton better than what they are. And I'm sure that if Tonga versus Samoa right now with the team that they ran out with over in England, right, Tonga would just clean that team up 40-0. I honestly would believe that. They'll do exactly what
Tonga will slap them up. Tonga will slap them up right now. Yep.
They would, 100%. And that's horrible. Like Samoa should be, in my opinion, should be right up there with them. And like, it's just shown that they've obviously showed up in the World Cup, but other than the World Cup, I just haven't seen anything out of Samoa at the moment, unless when they get their big boys back in that lineup to really make myself confident about that side, especially with Ben Garner. Just like some of the picks he's making at the moment, I just don't agree with, but just real lazy, bro. I don't know if it's jet lag. Obviously, I'll give him one more game to see how it goes, but a very disappointing performance. But, your thoughts on England too, bro. Shout out to the halves pairing of Harry Smith and George Williams. I thought they were great. Mikey Lewis off the bench.
Mikey Lewis,
he was
good
the one
too,
that
bro.
got, face to face with Gordy in the Civital.
Yep.
That was a really cool little moment there. I thought Victor Radley was incredible in that game too, bro. So a lot of class that they have there. And when you have Herbie Farnworth running for about 200 meters, Dominic Young breaking 11 tackles, I think Samoa got a big task to come back from the series.
Yeah, man, it's true, and I just think it's who was the previous coach before Gardner? I had this funny thing. What was his name? The one that coached him in the World Cup. Who was
Matt Parrish? No,
it was like Parrish looked like an insomniac. The guy looked like he never slept, and his hair was he just woke up. Oh my God. He was like.
And a lot of it was political based, right? Like we spoke about the politics of Polynesian rugby league at the moment and that, but to some of the comments here, like obviously, that what I'm saying is the Tonga side that they have right now and the pieces that I have with Isaiah Katara and that, I understand they lost to England over in a series, but just the performances that I saw from the Samoa side over the weekend was just nowhere near where they should be.
No,
like,
it
you know,
wasn't.
especially through their front row. Like Terrell May had a good year this year, and he looked like he just was taking the piss in this
No, he
game.
was, bro.
Honestly,
It was
I thought.
horrible. I totally agree with you, and I do think Tonga would slap them up right now. Like Tonga, I was really impressed with just professionalism, you know, the discipline of their defense. I see what, you know, Augustine and the other brother. Welcome in, actually, bro. I got to give a shout out to Little Arthurs. Good, welcome in, man. But yeah, it's great. It's a great little argument. But look, Samoa, you gotta really step it up a bit. Yeah, Gardner, there's questions on him. I thought RTS was good for the majority, but Talangi's got to play for me. He's got to play with you got to move forward past Milford, man. You got to just move on and prepare for the future. Like, yeah, even RTS, is he the answer for 2026? Like, you know, it's they got to. There's some things where I'm thinking you got to kind of move. You know, move forward in terms of your selections. Like, I mean, we talked about with Tonga, they're slowly trying to take the older guys out. I know Wolf really likes them, and I like what actually Stacey's done with Kenny. Like, even if Kenny isn't the long term fullback, at least he's brought some young blood. Like I think they all of the teams are trying to regenerate themselves a bit. So, but yeah, Samoa, bro, like a lot of work to do. It all goes back to attitude and your culture within your, like, if there's politics, if there's a lot of that stuff happening, it just doesn't, and it shows on the field, bro. It shows on the field. I mean, I can talk about the Kidwell era, and Will's T knows about that. Just, you know, even the 2013 World Cup, the Sonny Bill stuff ruined our campaign. You know, peptides and energy drinks and all that. Like, it all, you know, you go through any culture, and I'm not saying that that's what's happening at Samoa. I don't think there's that level of, you know, but you want to just make sure that you go and be professional and you get your culture right. That's the best thing you can do, is like sort your culture out, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and like I think we both agree, like we both hope, like I hope that I was wrong in this contest. They weren't, like, you know, I hope that it was a jet lag, and in the next game they have an amazing performance. But under Bengana, we saw last year with the Pacific Championship, picking Critter in that 6 jersey when he had players like Ronald Volkman and all that sitting there ready to go, where their performances, you know, it was great to have them in the Pacific Championship, but they did not stand the up to any of the big sides there, right? You know, and then, like, you know, seeing this game here where they just look well off the pace, and especially in like just very 1% areas that I thought Tonga was striving in, especially against Australia. You know, just keep your feet moving in the middle, keep working for each other. And you know, who knows, for Samoa, when they get all their big boys back for the World Cup, who knows, they could be incredible and they could rely on that. And maybe this series just doesn't mean as much as what they think for them. But I think for the Samoan community, like, it'd be great to see like the Samoan fans like turn up and watch their boys go out there and absolutely kill it and really try their heart out for that jersey, because it just felt like there's a lot of members in that side that really didn't turn up in that game and just got blown out of the water.
Yep. And yeah, so we'll wait to see what happens there. Like, good chat, good to see in the chat a lot of the talk around it, and you know, but I like, yeah, there's a lot of things to look at for Samoa to get a win. Like, you got to come away with something. And I know they'll compare it to Tonga last year. It was 3-0. Yeah, Tonga had its issues too, but look at them where they are now. Like, they look legit. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, they could win. They could win on Saturday. And it's and it's being respectful. Like, you know, they've done a great job. Yes, they got the Lolo Hair store, and you know, you can't get past that. But exactly what Josh said. There's RTS, Talangi, Luai. Well, CHT's not on tour, but you know, like, just definitely start Gordon. I mean, Paulie Roach, give him an opportunity. Like, I know Paulie's game. I know he'll do a job around the ruck. Like, you know, so yeah, Talangi has to get an opportunity, I feel. Absolutely. But that forward pack needs to sort itself out. Like, absolutely. I was watching, I was thinking, bro, this is disrespectful, man.
Oh, honestly, especially, like, as I said, like, when I watched the Civital, I thought the energy was there, and there I was like really excited to go see, like, you know, how these boys are going to turn up, especially Jeremiah. And I thought Sean Bloor was probably the best in there for back, in my opinion. I thought he was good. But everyone else, I couldn't really make an argument for. Like Lazarus only played like 8 minutes in that game, if that. So I didn't even see much out of him. But I thought he was okay when he was on. But when Luch came on, looked like he was flopping around everywhere. When just like the big one was Terrell May for me.
Terrell's horrible.
I just saw that. Bro, I just saw the way he was carrying, like attacking wise, statistically, he ran for like 144 meters and all that. But I'm just talking defensively, like, and as I said to you before, with like, stats this season, with these missed tackle stats, he missed 3 tackles, but I don't know if that one that I'm pointing out, obviously where his feet were stuck in sand, he didn't even try to create the tackle. So how could he miss it if he's not even going to make the effort to even try to make it, right? So it was just really, really poor from the outset. And I feel for the Samoan fans, but hopefully they can get back on the horse and give England a red hot crack next time. Because I'm not even saying they should beat England, but just look competitive.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Anyway, man, let's just quickly recap some of the other fixtures that happened. Just in the women's, obviously Kiwi Ferns. We didn't watch this. Anyone in the chat, if you got any call it about what happened with Kiwi Ferns Jillaroos, but 14-0 is not a great look. Can't get any points on the board, but I mean it's a close one. Look, I saw it was 0-0 for quite a strong majority of the game. But yeah, the class of looking like Upton, Aitken and Surges got over the line, which is fantastic. Penatani as well got one. 3 sorry. Penatani, Upton, Surges.
Just I think 14-0 is a good little effort for especially after the Jillaroos coming pumping the PNG side the week before and all that, to not see a good decent drumming here of the Kiwi Ferns. But the Kiwi Ferns are usually very competitive with the Jillaroos, and I expected the Kiwi Ferns to really test them, especially attacking wise, Melehefunga, players like that. Amber Hall coming off the bench, I would have expected her to have a little bit more impact. So, hopefully, next time they can get at them and make it a really, because the Kiwi Ferns always give us a big test with the Jillaroos.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot to work on. A lot of you guys mentioning about the kicking game and Racine not being. I can understand that. Racine's very good.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Missing Racine. It's hard if you get it that strong, because it's Aussies. The men's is very similar to the women's. They like that hard pressed defensive speed, pin you down and try and get you in, keep you in your 40. And if you got no kicking game for it, they just sit their wingers on their 40 and they just they wait for that kick over the top. So it's going to be a tough night. Yeah, you got to really a lot of work for Ricky to do, probably, to try and figure out how to get that team clicking. I mean, you got quality. You got Broughton. You got Tyler King. You got the hooker's pretty good. You got Melia. You got what's her name? The Cronulla girl.
She's ton of talent that side.
Ton of talent.
Abigail Roach. You got as I said, Amber Hall coming off the bench. You got Anissa Brittle, who's really solid as well. Georgia Hale. Their side's stacked. Tiana Davison's a really good player. I think that the performance is definitely lacking for the team that they had on paper.
I mean, it's not a given. You never know, but they'll go to PNG this week, and you probably say you want to get the dub, but iron out your attack. Work on stuff. So, and then prepare for Sydney. But that was a tough day after 2 losses for the Kiwi Ferns and Kiwis, but you build into that. Just quickly in the men's side, we had Fiji. They smashed Cook Islands 56-6. So I think Fiji goes into the potential. Well, if PNG beat Cook Islands this week, they go into the promotion relegation battle either between New Zealand or Tonga. So Fiji are all dependent on Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, all they got to do is get a draw or win. But if they lose, because Fiji built up that scoreboard, that 56 points, the Fiji are currently sitting first at the moment. So we'll just have to see. But I think PNG look decent enough to take Cook Islands out there. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, the Cook Island side just doesn't have the potential of both these other sides. You know, they're missing key members. Like Carol Ito was a big member of their side. You know, like a lot of like Xavier Willison was unable to feature in this game as well. So they were missing a lot of pieces. But even when they usually have their full strength side, they do struggle to compete with teams like Fiji and Papua New Guinea. They still have a little bit of ways to go there. But you know, that Fiji Bati side, they really rocks and diamonds at times, right?
Yeah.
Like this is their diamonds, 56-6. But you know, against PNG, they just couldn't get their game going. But shout out Tane Milne, bro. Like, you know, 8 out of 8 conversion. Like, oh no, he had 7 of the 8 out of 8 conversions, 8 out of 10. Ran for like 200 plus meters, bro. Like he was a man on a mission. I love watching him play on the forward pack because it's like, you know, you get to watch him in the Rabbitohs playing center, and you're just like,
Yeah.
when he runs in the forward pack, bro, he just goes skits, and it's like kind of suits him a little bit. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, a lot of really amazing tries, you know, watching back at the game and all of that. Like, I think that, you know, the offloading ability of Fiji, they're always going to cause a lot of trouble with the Cook Islands. But there was a couple of nice shots the Cookie boys really put out on those Fijian boys. But still a little bit of ways to go for Cook Islands to really compete with these sides.
Yeah, man. Sorry, guys, I forgot the women's one. Fiji Bulikula beat the Cook Islands Moana, and I thought that was a good game. Fiji will be facing Samoa and at Mount Smart this Saturday. The winner gets into the World Cup for 2026, which is great. So a lot to play for. I think I'd go Samoa at the moment, but Bulikula had some good shape. They've got some good structure. You never know. This might be a good little match. But yeah, I'm just thinking that's a good one to see who wins. But Samoa, I think, should be the favourites at the moment. And that one.
Yeah, you know where my allegiances lie, bro. Fetul Samoa. You know, shout out Barney. Hopefully go out there and kill it this weekend.
Yeah, Varney will be great. Okay, man, let's get into quickly into the team list for this big matchup coming against this weekend. Sorry, Kiwis versus Tonga. It's a great one. Look, we'll go through just quickly. I mean, for the Kiwis, only addition is Leo Thompson, so Jordan Ricky drops out. Now, I think that kind of puts a little span in the works. Probably, you got Marata there as back row cover, but what do you make of Marata? More of just a middle hit-up type guy in this game? Do you think he'll work for the Warriors? You think it'll be good for us?
Yeah, I very much took it as like maybe an experiment again of like Marata coming off the bench, and hopefully we're going to see it for the Warriors this season. So I thought he wasn't too bad, bro. I thought that he definitely showed a lot of good moments there coming through the middle, and he's a big aggressive body, so I'm sure that he'll do a great job there too. So, but with this, I'd very much say that he'll be edge and edge and middle cover. But yeah, I thought he was pretty solid over the weekend against the Kangaroos.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so the unchanged, Nikorima, yeah, so guys, even though we talked about Nikorima, Chance is still there at 6, so we'll have to let it play out. We'll see what happens. It's pretty much unchanged. Now, Fahu, he's listed as the lock. I mean, I'm not sure. I saw Fahu start, so I don't know what that technically means. Do you think, what do you understand? Because Naufahu and Tapina are traditional like head-up type locks. Do you think Naufahu is going to be just used as more of a prop, or do you think he'll be a bit more ball playing, or is it just kind of, because that's actually really solid 3 guys on there physically. But yeah, what do you make of that Naufahu's role in that kind of?
What I would say, I'd probably put money on Leo Thompson coming into that starting lineup, and Nafahu would probably drop out to that from that 13 jersey. I think that Joseph Tapine will play a little bit of that 13 role like he kind of usually does with the Kiwis. But if it was to run out the way it was with the team on paper that where they're going now, I was really impressed with Nafahu White's game over the weekend against the Kiwis. I thought that against the Kangaroos, I thought that he's really strong in contact. He's definitely got a big future in that Kiwis jersey. So I think that overall, if they just play direct, play solid against this Tongan pack, I think they can match it with them. I think they got the mobility, in my opinion, like especially with Fish, Tarps and Leo if he ends up playing in that role as well. So that's the way I kind of think it's going to go. I do think that he'll probably drop to the bench, and Leo Thompson will find himself in the starting front row position.
Yep, that actually makes sense now that what you're saying here. CNK at lock. not sure, Tans. Not sure if it's too much experimentation right now, but yeah, we'll leave that one there. For Tonga, they have got, I think, pretty much unchanged as well from their last outing. They got,
other than Keon Golomatangi falls out of
yeah,
sight,
interesting.
Siwa Wong goes in that 17 jersey. I don't know how I feel.
I don't know about that. I mean, Keon, you still need ball playing. I mean, even Jason was great, I thought, against Aussie, but Keon was, if Keon had a blowout, like amazing game, that might have been the difference to a close game against Aussie and what it ended up being. He was just off the boil. Well, a bit underdone. He's had a bad year, obviously, with the Rabbitohs, but yeah, to take him out, I think it's a bit of a risk. What did you make of that change?
Yeah, like, you know, you kind of know my thoughts overall. I would have preferred to had Keon Golomatangi start in that Tongan side. I think that the pack that they have is very, very big, and you kind of see it in moments against the Kangaroos where the ruck speed started to really hamper them a little bit. I think that if you have Keon in the middle, I think that helps out quite a bit. And it's not to take away. I think Wong's an incredible player, got an incredible talent, and I think the Roosters are going to benefit having more time into him this year. But out of the two, like, I think Keon's obviously the more experienced member. I know he didn't have the greatest game against the Kangaroos, obviously missing a try and a couple of errors due to those. But I would have preferred to have him just more so experienced and just a smaller body to bring off the bench and has a lot more mobility to really clean up the ruck. Because going in a new age of football, bro, like, you know, you're looking at a forward pack with Adam Fanor, Blake, Jason Tamalolo and all that. Both those guys are good, like 120, 130 kilo props like that.
Yeah.
You know, even though Ads has got good mobility, sometimes it takes a little bit for him to get off the ground, get back into the line in moments and that, where Keon's a lot smaller. He can get off the ground. He can get back in the line. He's got good side-to-side movement in defense. I think that's the area that they will sort of miss, not having Golomatangi in that side.
Dion, sorry, Lole Kata. Is Dion's out for the first birth of his child? Oh, who's that? Dion. Is that?
Oh, Dion Tarupa.
Oh,
I'm guessing that's what he's
okay.
saying. Or maybe Keon.
Are you saying Keon or Dion Lole? Just want to confirm that. If that's Dion, that was the half from Rabbitohs, right?
Yeah. These are the New South Wales Cup. Number 6. He's a good player. I like him.
Oh, so he had the birth of his first baby. Okay, that makes sense actually. That he maybe why he wasn't selected. Thank you, Lole. In relation, oh no, Keon. Keon. Oh, okay.
There you go. Congratulations, Keon. Then.
Yeah, man. Thank you. You related to Solomon, then, man? Lole. Nah, I love
Solomon.
Solomon Kata. Probably is. He probably is related to Kata.
Gangster.
Oh, that'd be
Send
awesome.
him some gear.
Yeah. I miss the days of Solomon and Conrad. It was fun times. I mean, it wasn't the greatest quality of football, but it was fun. No. It was fun. You know what I mean?
Great height, bro.
Yeah, it was great height. Yeah.
I watched like Solomon come through, like, you know, the under 20 system, and I was like, this guy is going to be one of the best centers that we've seen, and unfortunately, he didn't hit that level for us. But yeah, here we go, third generation. Oh, hard.
Oh, man. Oh, that's cool, bro. I like that. No, I mean, thank you, Lola. Thanks for the information too. That makes sense now. So
that makes sense.
We can't be too critical of that. And if I look at the guys around it, yeah, Seo Wong's probably the best of what you got.
I'd probably say so, unless you wanted to have like a Finef Fuyaki that can
Finef
cover
Fuyaki,
on the edge in the middle, but Satili can do a very similar job. So I don't disagree with it.
Yeah, I actually got no problem with that now that I think about it. Okay, so let's just break this down, how this game will kind of go. Okay, we'll go quickly first to Tonga's game. I mean, they played an amazing game for the majority, just similar symptoms in different ways to the Kiwis, where Katoa was the be-all, end-all, and we talked to Saliva, we talked about Lolo here not being good enough, but I mean, they've had 2 weeks now. Like, surely there's a bit more cohesion, surely there should be a bit more structure, and surely they'll get on the board against the Kiwis, which I think they've got so much forward power and talent that they should be able to get over the line. But what do you make? How do you think they'll play? Do you think they'll have the improvement in the attack? And should they still be able to get the meters that they so easily got against Australia? Do you think they'll be consistent even against the Kiwis as well?
I think so. I think that if they come with the same mindset, I think a big key factor in this game, and you're obviously traveling out to this game, but I think that obviously being over in South Auckland and seeing the Red Sea of those Tongan fan base in South Auckland, like it was massive in Brisbane, but I just like you just know that like from seeing it on TV multiple times, you know, in the World Cup and those big moments they had to test against them. I think that supporter base is going to be massive in South Auckland, in Auckland. I think that it's going to really turn up. So I'm really excited to see that, and I think that's going to give them an added facet to this game for I thought their energy was incredible against the Kangaroos. I think they're going to be very similar, if not better than what they were against the Kangaroos, especially after that hit out. So I do think their attack's probably going to come along a little bit further. Obviously, you know, we see each and every side that first game of Pacific Championships just working on combinations. I think Isaiah Katoa probably will have maybe he won't take up so much responsibility with his kicking game. I did think that he was trying too hard against the Kangaroos, but coming up against the Kiwis, I do think that he'll probably be a bit more controlling. I think his kicking game he'll learn a lot of things. So I'm excited to see that. I still don't like Savila Havili in that number 9. I would have Sonny Luke there every day of the week, but that's the way they go. I think they will be fairly better. I think they can crack the Kiwis, but I still think the Kiwis, you know, strike with their attacking sets is probably going to cause them a little bit more problems than, what Australia could have.
I actually agree with Augustine a little bit. Like, is it a comparison with Isaiah and SJ, the dependence on them. So I just love to see a bit more variety. Lot here. Please stand up, like, you know, it's like we need something from him, and that's probably just the one thing is like Saliva. I'd like to see Sonny Luke start personally, but you know, get Sonny Luke on as quick as you can. That's where maybe, you know, Phoenix Crossland just gives you a bit more of that structure, a bit better service. So there's little elements where, but bro, Moses Sully has another big game like that. Peter Hicker's going to have a long night. Olakau'atu getting on Tomoko and CNK, bro, watch out, you know. Alamotti, that's a good little battle. Alamotti and Tomoko. Tomoko hasn't been playing that great, you know. You got great outside backs. You got a great AFB forward pack to get your meters. Like, so there'll be opportunities for Tonga. No doubt Tonga will be in this game. They'll have the same amount of ball, maybe a bit more if they do things right. But they need to ice it. They really need to ice it. And likewise for the Kiwis, like there's probably a bit more structure, a bit more fluidity, but they should still have enough to kind of find themselves on the board. But man, I think this is going to be a close game, personally.
Yeah, I do think that you know, Tonga are probably going to look a little bit at what Australia did. Like early on in the game, I thought we went away from trying to attack Sean Johnson, you know, defensively in this game with Angus Crichton. Obviously, we cracked you early with that one, but Angus's index finger didn't help him with dropping the ball over the line. So he's missing index finger. But I think that like having Olakau'atu on Sean Johnson's side, because that's where Olakau'atu will post up in this game, being like, you know, off, he's a preferred side, but that left side, I thought Olakau'atu was incredible against Australia, and especially when they had him one-on-one on Mitchell Moses. You know, Sean is in for a long night there with Olakau'atu one-on-one there. So if Isaiah Katoa can get him one-on-one, I think they're going to feed on that side. And then if you look on the other side there too, I do believe that, you know, there was moments where Chance and Tomoko were really off sometimes defensively. If you're going to be running at Paul Alamonte and Sione Katoa sometimes can come in and really do like some work in there too. I think that that can really, you know, pose a little bit of issues for the Kiwis.
Yeah, and like I just think the Sea of Red, the home freight, like they'll be the majority of the crowd. If they can get behind their boys, look, it's going to be a good little tussle.
100%.
Kenny might have a good game too if he can find some creases and late in the game. Like speed, I think whoever has the best use of their speed will be a big impact. You can just see that with Australia, just they break open, you know, so late in the game and that type of thing. So, yeah, man. Okay, that's cool. We'll leave that there.
On that point though, bro, before we go, I think that's the edge for the Kiwis for me in this contest. Is probably why I'm starting. I do sway to the Kiwi side of things in this one. Is when I'm looking at the work of the outside backs that are coming in and like some of the speed areas, I do think that like the Tongan forward pack, I thought we could have attacked that a lot more in that game. Obviously, Tommy Trbojevic had a lot of success through the middle with their ruck speed and stuff. I think that when you have Keanu Kini just floating around and just playing there through the middle, I think there's opportunities for Kiwis to strike through the middle through lazy defense in moments. So expect that to really open up the Tongan defense.
Yep. And I think about either way, it's going to be a great battle. I'll be there, and just looking forward to it. Hasn't sold out yet, so I think there's. I mean, these aren't Warriors prices. You know, Warriors are like $10, so there's a bit more expensive. So the tickets aren't moving fully, but hopefully it gets close to a sellout. But yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to a cracking game. What was your scoreline you got for this one?
I think that it's going to be a 18-12 sort of score line. I think that, you know, the Kiwis attack will start to come along a little bit. I think they'll have more opportunities in this game than the Tongan side. Just looking at just remembering the Australian versus Tongan performance, I think that, I know we were posted on our line a couple of moments there, but I think lion's share of the possession as well did come from us attacking the Tongan line and unable to crack them. Where I think that the Kiwis have a lot more opportunities to do so because they obviously to a structured game plan and like less drop balls and stuff like that. So I think at 18-12 could be 20-12 as well. But I think it's going to be a really, really close game, bro. And it could definitely sway the way of the Tongan side, especially, you know, with the supporter base going out there as well.
Yeah, man, I agree, Jez. But you know, that's up to us Kiwis fans to voice our, you know, ourselves. I thought Chch did well. There was blackout. It was great to see that. Now it's Auckland's turn, you know, to turn out and show out. So, yeah, but I totally agree. Yeah, Otahu technically look all off. Yeah, mate, I'm driving up there. I mean, I might not be able to get home with all the Tongan vans and the flags, man. I better get. I might just have to leave early. Okay, man. I think that covers everything. I mean. Well, I think we've talked about Samoa, England, and until we get a team list, we're not going to be able to. But you just say you got to, you know, we talked about that. They have to improve. They have to show some respect to the English team. I actually looked at the ref wasn't too bad. I know it ended up, a lot of people saying I mean, the rucks are really messy in Super League. I think like the guys are off the mark a lot over there. It's kind of not tidy, so I think that can be a bit of a hard thing to adjust with. But there's no excuses, man. So yeah, but we'll see how that goes. What
was bad, bro, is I think a lot of people can come together. That the English broadcast, like the commentary team. I know I complain about our commentary team. Oh,
they're horrible over there. Horrible,
bro. But like, yeah, it's just, yeah, man. Honestly. Yep. But then again, they had a lot to talk about because the Samoa just didn't turn up in that game. Hopefully Samoa turn up in this game and give them a little bit of hell. I think we can all agree we all want to see that.
No, they're disrespectful over there, bro. They are. The Welsh guy, he's like, he's got no idea, man. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Okay, so let's go quickly to, we've done Tonga, we've done Samoa. Papua New Guinea just quickly versus Cook Islands. You think Papua New Guinea will win that one?
Yeah, I think it would be quite convincing as well. Very similar to what Fiji kind of did over the Cook Islands. But yeah, hopefully Cook Islands can come out and get a little bit more points on the board. But I think PNG will be too strong for them for sure. Yep.
And Fetu Samoa, Fiji Bulkula, you're going obviously Fetu Samoa.
Fetu Samoa, maybe big win by quite a bit, hopefully.
Break out, okay. And then Kiwi Furs versus PNG or Orchards. I think that should be pretty much.
Yeah, that should be a drumming. The Kiwi Furs should get up there.
Okay, guys, that wraps up pretty much all the games. This last point was an interesting one: is the Ashes is coming back. Finally, it is coming back, going to English shores. So 3-game test from all reports, and as a true blue Aussie fan, and they're bringing back the old Ashes series. What are your thoughts on that, Ash?
Yeah, really, really excited, bro. I just remember growing up as a little boy, waking up like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock early in the morning to watch, Darren Lockyer, Brad Fittler, Andrew Johns to put it onto the big stage there against the English squad. And I think we all agree it's always good to see, teams beat England. I don't know what it is. It's just always a really good sight. So hopefully we can really give it to them. But they're going to be a tough test because as we've seen, they've got a great side out there. They play great football. But this is international football coming to the forefront now. And finally, we're going to get these tests, and hopefully it opens up tests for Anzac Day tests, right? Bring back the New Zealand, Australia Anzac tests, and hopefully they start to branch out too to some more, Tonga versus Samoa 3-game series or something like that. I think that's where the game should grow to. But yeah, I am so excited, brother. How are you feeling? Not being an Australian fan or an England fan, how are you feeling about it? Because I think more footy like that is going to be great.
I love history. I mean, and like I always say, Kangaroos are the All Blacks and they should be respected. And I think I listened to James Graham and his thing about he has that round table thing. I'm not sure if you've seen that. They talked about internationals.
I've got that queued up, bro.
Yeah, they're Flanagan, Woods. It's good. Like, there's good arguments for both sides. And James Graham said that the Aussie jersey isn't of high value, but Woods came back at him and said, nah, Mel's done a great job trying to bring that value back in. And to get this one over the line, I think it's absolutely awesome. I think Mel was a big reason behind it. So, like, for me, of course I want Kiwis to win every day, but it's nice to see traditional things come back, and just hope it knocks it out of the park. I think they're looking at Arsenal or Tottenham for the first game. So, if you get 60,000 there or whatever, then you go to, I don't know, Old Trafford or I don't know, somewhere up there. Those are cool. It's just cool. It's cool to even morning tests are fun. For true blue rugby league fans, and I know a lot just focus on the club game and that, but for true internationals and people that enjoy it, it's cool waking up at 4 a.m. I remember the Sean Johnson step to score in the semi-final. I was up.
Cannot forget.
It was just awesome. In the early morning, people know that. Even All Blacks tests. Back in the day, I used to watch. I think it was the '95 World Cup against South Africa. It was. You had your whole family up watching these games in the morning, and I think it's I think I'm looking forward to whatever happens. Hope it goes well. But yeah, credit to Mel to really push it, and the Kangaroos players, barring Ponga, I think was a bit sad to see, but they're all bought in. Even if they're injured, they still want to try and play. So
and hopefully, with those tests that are coming up, it ends up having more opportunities for players to play full strength and going out there and happening. If it's happening more mid-season and stuff like that, that's usually where a lot of the more players will put their hands up representatively wise, because they're not in off-season time, they're not trying to rest injuries during the season. It's probably more likely for them to step up. And some of my best memories watching football had come from that. I remember the 2006 Test series, Australia versus England, waking up 4-5 o'clock in the morning. I have a really vivid memory of me being out on holiday and waking up really early. I had a family holiday and waking up early to watch the test and watch Darren Lockyer go kill it. And I think that was his golden boot year. So there's a lot of good memories there, bro. And hopefully more and more comes from it, because I have so many bigger memories with the Anzac test. So hopefully they bring that back too.
Yeah, I think all in due course. I've seen the numbers, the ratings for the Pacific's been really good. I think they said the Kangaroos are the second or third highest rated men's team. So they rate higher than the Wallabies, and they're obviously below the cricket team. So you should build on that. That's something to be proud of. So
100%.
But it's all all in due time. Things will grow. I think the NRL, what I noticed with, you usually think, the clubs hate internationals and the journos hate it, but Volandi's in that, they're just really pushing it. They're like, nah, we're pushing internationals. We want that to be a focus. So it's cool, man. And everyone's buying on board. So, nah, man, all good.
Well, I'm excited for more in the future, because I think we were both very surprised seeing the World Cup qualifiers of Serbia versus Wales and stuff those teams sort of stepping up. I think Wales end up smoking Serbia 56-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was really excited to try and find some viewers, some things on that game, because we saw our young halfback in SG Ball, Jesse Saric, play for Serbia. I was unable to find anything on it, but if anyone can let me to a link, or if anyone knows, let me know. But yeah, he was in that game. He was playing number 7 or number 6 for Serbia. So a lot of big moments like that, and it can only get better the more we do it, right? That's usually how life works. The more we do it, the better we figure out the kinks, and we can work on it. So hopefully more in the future. Yeah,
Saric would have been great to see. But it's going to grow. It's it's building itself up, so it's all we can ask for. But man, we'll leave it there, guys. We got through that one. No watch-alongs this weekend, guys. Ash is busy. I'll be at the game as well, but hope you guys enjoy it. We'll be back again next Tuesday for, I suppose reflecting on the Kiwis Tonga and see who's in the final. So we'll know by then for sure. But man, anything else for you, my bro?
No, bro. Anyone that wants to jump over to Ash Thomas YouTube, also, guys, we got Down Unders tomorrow night. Yes. Me and Brody will go through these games as well and give you our thoughts. So you get to see Brody's thoughts from those that side of things as well. And also, there might be a little sneaky surprise live stream, if you will, in the wake up for the England Samoa game. I'll go try and see if I can do that. But I've got a Bucks night on the Saturday, which is why I'm unable to do the live stream for this weekend. But if I'm able to get in time and I'm not in a real bad state, I want to get on live and watch Samoa, hopefully bring back the series, because I want to see Samoa do well. I hope my criticism wasn't too harsh, but I just want to see them do well.
Of course,
we want to see international football go well.
We want them to do well too, and always nice getting over the pommies, and you just want those commentators to shut up. You know what I mean? You want to shut them up. These guys are horrible, man. They really are. They're
honestly,
bad.
Bro.
I thought Blocker was bad, but when you have to listen to those guys, far out.
Yeah.
But all good, everyone. Take care. Up the Kiwis, up the Tongans as well for the horsies out there. We'll catch you on the weekend. Aussie. Man, take care of those guys. See you guys. Take care. See you later.